I am businessman Herman Cain. I'm delighted to be here to discuss one of the most critical issues we face, because as a result of this administration, our national security has indeed been downgraded.
Herman Cain, let's bring you into this conversation. Are you with Senator Santorum when he says that there should be religious profiling, that Muslims in particular should get extra screening when they go through airports?
I believe we can do a whole lot better with TSA, and I call it targeted identification.
What does that mean?
We can do targeted identification. If you take a look at the people who have tried to kill us, it would be easy to figure out exactly what that identification profile looks like. But I want to make sure that I get to the Patriot Act. So I believe we can do a whole lot better. The answer, I believe, also may be privatization. Now, relative to the Patriot Act, if there are some areas of the Patriot Act that we need to refine, I'm all for that. But I do not believe we ought to throw out the baby with the bathwater for the following reason. The terrorists have one objective that some people don't seem to get. They want to kill all of us. So we should use every means possible to kill them first or identify them first.
But just to be precise, Mr. Cain, I just want to give you a chance. Is it okay for Muslim Americans to get more intensive pat-downs or security when they go through airports than Christian Americans or Jewish Americans?
No, Blitz, that's oversimplifying it. I happen to believe that if you allow our intelligence agencies to do their job, they can come up with an approach. I'm sorry, Blitz, I meant Wolf, okay? Blitz, Wolf. Since we're on a Blitz debate, I apologize. Wolf, what I'm saying is, let's ask the professionals to give us an approach of how we can increase the identification of people that might be a danger to civilians as well as a danger to this nation.
Thank you, Cain. The specific question is, if Israel attacked Iran to prevent Tehran from getting nuclear weapons, would you help Israel launch the attack or support it otherwise?
I would first make sure that they had a credible plan for success, clarity of mission and clarity of success. Remember, when you talk about attacking Iran, it is a very mountainous region. The latest reports say that there may be 40 different locations, and I would want to make sure that we had a good idea from intelligence sources where these are located, and if Israel had a credible plan that it appeared as if they could succeed, I would support Israel, yes. And in some instances, depending upon how strong the plan is, we would join with Israel for that if it was clear what the mission was and it was clear what the definition of victory was.
Let me let Herman Cain respond.
Thank you. I stated, if the mission and the plan were clear, that it could succeed. But I pointed out that is highly unlikely given the terrain, the mountainous terrain in Iran. But here's the other reason that we should help Israel in an initiative like that. Back to Afghanistan. If we pull out of Afghanistan too soon, Iran is going to help fulfill that power vacuum in Afghanistan. And so it is in our best interest, the United States of America, to prevent them from being able to help fill that power vacuum in Afghanistan.
Let's stay on this.
Here again.
And here's the question. Can the United States afford to continue that kind of foreign assistance to Africa for AIDS, malaria, could run into the billions of dollars?
It depends upon priorities. Secondly, it depends upon looking at the program and asking the question, has that aid been successful? In other words, let's look at the whole problem. It may be worthwhile to continue, it may not. I would like to see the results, just like every program we have here domestically. What have the results been? Then we make a decision about how we prioritize.
Herman Cain, let me let you weigh in.
Yes. Allow me to answer the gentleman's question. The answer is yes. An insecure border is a national security threat for the following reasons. Number one, we know that terrorists have come into this country by way of Mexico. Secondly, 40% of the people in Mexico, according to a survey, already believe that their country is a failed state. Thirdly, the number of people killed in Mexico last year equals the number of people killed in Afghanistan and Iraq combined. So yes, so let's solve the whole problem. Number one, secure the border for real. Number two, enforce the laws that are already there. We don't need new laws. Number three, promote the current path to citizenship. Clean up the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. so people can come through the front door instead of sneaking in the side door. And number four, to deal with the illegals that are already here, empower the states to do what the federal government is not capable of doing.
Serious violence has erupted in Syria between the repressive al-Assad regime and some elements of the people of Syria. Syria borders a major ally of the United States, NATO ally Turkey, and 3 other friendly countries, Israel, Jordan, and Iraq. In your view, what are the interests of the United States in this region, and what would you do to protect them?
Herman Cain, you may not know this, but today Governor Perry called for a no-fly zone, for the U.S. to participate in a no-fly zone over Syria. Would you go that far? Would you support that?
No, I would not. I would work with our allies in the region to put pressure to be able to try and get our allies in other nations to stop buying oil from Syria. That would be one thing that I would do, but I would not support a no-fly zone. The most effective tools that we have in any of these situations are a strong military, which it is getting weaker, unfortunately, and our own economic strength. This whole discussion tonight about cutting and compromise, we didn't spend enough time talking about the other part of the problem, growing this economy, because this administration has failed dismally at growing this economy. We can cut till the cows come home, but it still would not solve the problem until we have effective economic growth.
During the 2000 presidential debates, Governor George W. Bush was never asked about the threat from al-Qaeda, yet the battle with al-Qaeda dominated his presidency. What national security issue do you worry about that nobody is asking about either here or in any of the debates so far?
Having been a ballistics analyst and a computer scientist early in my career, cyber attacks. That's something that we do not talk enough about, and I happen to believe that that is a national security area that we do need to be concerned about.